This week of building was mired by setbacks. Nevertheless, Jay did what he could to persevere and put out an update.
Hello boyos, Rich Boy Jay here back with another video, and this is yet another episode of building Kamino in Lego. This was a bit of a weird week. I gotta say that my plan was to have this update out on Sunday as usual, but I actually went out of town this weekend to go spend some time with some family, and it just ended up being the case that I was not able to get this update out on, the usual Sunday that I planned for. So that kind of pushed this update back to right now. And, I had a lot more progress planned for it than I was able to get done. And I basically just ended up totally goofing. And you'll see in the video the exact kind of mistake that I made that really caused a setback with this update. But nonetheless, I do think you'll appreciate the things that I was able to get done for Kamino this week. That being said, I gotta right off the bat give a shout out to those people who tune into the live streams. If you guys are tuning to the live streams, I have to say that it is much appreciated. That is a great way to not only support the channel, but also support Kamino, and also get to see a little bit of Kamino early before these actual updates. So if you aren't tuning in, I definitely suggest you to do so. And also, I guess it's worth mentioning, if you want to tune in but you aren't getting the alerts for it, definitely go to the notifications icon, set that to on, and you'll be notified about the live streams when they happen, so you can join in on all the fun. So speaking of the live streams, there were those who were kind enough to donate via the live stream, so I gotta give a shout out to those guys. So special thanks to Bills by Matt, Vib, Wicked Brick Studios, Peter J. Dane, The Janitor 93, Simply Logan, Trevor04, and Brick Freak. You guys are so awesome. As I mentioned every week, these donations go such a long way to making these large-scale builds happen. So just know I am very much appreciative with each and every cent that you guys are kind enough to contribute. So with that being said, I guess let's go ahead and jump into Kamino. The building that I did on the live stream got us off to a really good start in regards to making progress on the dome structure. I knocked out about half of these little assemblies, and here on the time lapse, I knocked out the other half. And then it was time to install those on the actual build. It was a bit of a tricky process just because trying to reach around and install these basically on the back side of a wall could get a little bit annoying. Sometimes parts would pop off, but it wasn't super difficult. Probably the most annoying part of this is that it just gets repetitive doing everything on these domes like 21 times. But I guess at this point, I've kind of gotten used to it. You'll notice that I left a few of those empty at the start. That was because I think I built a few of the assemblies the wrong way. So I had to flip the assemblies around to get them to work. This did, however, turn out to be a pretty satisfying part of the build, just because it was my first glimpse at seeing what these full domes were going to look like with the top included. And then it was at this point that I realized that I had done something very wrong. Once I started trying to apply the panels to the exterior of the frame, I quickly realized that the panels were just too steep for where they were supposed to be, and ultimately that I had basically done all the angles on these frame sections incorrectly. Man, honestly, I have to say, this had to be one of the most brutal days/weeks I've had of building on Kamino. I had this entire structure built up, good to go. I was feeling so happy about the progress. Then I realized all my angles were completely off, and basically had to take all this down and then readjust all of the support sections to be the correct angle. So if there's one moral of the story, guys, if you're building something, even if you don't plan on taking it apart ever or taking it anywhere, you never know what can happen. Take pictures. Take lots of pictures. Take lots of reference photos along the way, just so you will always know exactly what you're supposed to be doing and where you're supposed to be doing it. I feel that a lot of this could have been avoided had I done that, but, just didn't quite work out that way. And that's not to say that I wasn't, obviously recording stuff, but, I didn't deliberately take pictures of the angles that I had for, these supports, for example. And that meant I had to look really close and try to, basically just get weird angles from videos that I made. And, while I do a decent enough job at documenting the build progress when I'm building, I just, didn't have a close enough look at the studs, so ended up having to scour through my cell phone and find some really, not really old pictures, but just, old pictures from over a year ago that I had taken throughout the process, and those kind of were able to help me basically through trial and error figure out exactly what I had done wrong and get to the correct angles. So unfortunately this week you're not going to see the structure holding up these, but you will get to see at least what it looks like, with these kind of freestanding by themselves, which for all intents and purposes, is pretty much what they look like on the structure anyways. It's just not as strong. What I did go ahead and do is I threw on some of the panels that we had before from basically the last time we were building up structure, and I gotta say I'm still happy with them. I'm still definitely going to use all of these, but I obviously have a lot more of them to build. I got a lot more of these to build. I think I have enough of these to basically go all the way to that side over there. But I'm going to need a lot more for the opposite side, because basically up until this point I was only building on half of this dome. But I guess to switch to a more positive tone about this, now that we are sitting here with the structure looking correctly, with the the dome really taking shape and getting to really see what the actual shape of this thing is going to look like, I am extremely happy with the way this thing is looking. Like, this is, it's coming so close together, and I'm really convinced that the next update we have, I'll obviously have to redo that middle support structure, but if I can get even most of these panels finished up, I will be extremely happy. I think it's gonna go such a long way in terms of the aesthetic of this build. Like, even just looking at this little slice right here, this little cross section, it really is helping me visualize just exactly what Kamino is going to look like when it gets close to finished. And I have to say, I am quite happy with what I am seeing. So really, that's all I got for you guys this week. I know, bit of a shorter update, and that's just, some setbacks, busy weekend with some family stuff I had to do. So I'm not disappointed at all. I am, still just happy to be able to work on this thing at any sort of consistent pace. So Kamino lives on, and we will continue building on it. My goal for the next update is definitely, for sure, to get that middle structure actually sized correctly, and then to add on as many of those side panels as possible, and hopefully we can get an almost full-fledged look at what this mock is going to look like. So yeah, I guess let's go ahead and go to the end of the video now. And that's going to finish up this week's update, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Definitely let me know in the comment section below what you're thinking about Kamino so far. I'm super annoyed that I kind of ran into that issue with the angles on the build, but I guess that is just what comes with the territory when you take such a long break from a build and you're kind of trying to figure things out along the way as you come back to it. And I was so confident that everything was working out exactly the way it should. And then, once I started trying to put those first panels on, I was like, nope, this is not right. But I believe we have figured out that problem. We obviously figured out that problem. And I don't really foresee this type of thing happening again, because pretty much once I get the structure built up, we will almost be exactly where we left off in terms of like the panels being on the mock, the structure being there to hold up all those frame assemblies. So everything pretty much from here on out is going to be, new stuff, so to speak. My plan for this next update is for sure to get that main structure built up and sized correctly, and also to get as many panels as possible assembled and put onto the frame of Kamino, because I really want to have a good look at what the dome is going to be like by the end of the next update. So I think that is a big incentive for you guys to be tuning in next week for sure, because big things are going to be happening with Kamino in these upcoming weeks. But I do think that's going to finish things up this week. So if you like what I do, go ahead and support the video by hitting the like button, support the channel by smashing that subscribe button, and I'll be back again very soon.